Hi everybody, this is the Baseball Head, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the People's Champion. Your host, and welcome back to the Baseball Head. I hope you like this video. Hit that subscribe button. I just want to do a video for you tonight. I wasn't planning on it. Just want to give you another update on what's going on with Juan Soto. And a lot's been going on. And there's sort of an issue. Don't take it out of me. Don't unsub because I mentioned this. Because this is being reported. Being talked about, amongst the media people. The quote-unquote experts, but we're going to talk about it here, and we'll see what happens. Now, as you know, Juan Soto is the big free agent for this year. He's got 5 teams in on him: our Mets, the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Red Sox, and the Blue Jays. Now, I felt that the Mets had a 58% chance of signing him, with the Yankees at 42%. And it's kind of changing a little bit just based on this article that I'm going to read to you. And but I'm still very confident that Steve Cohen will get this done. I know there's been a lot of talk that they're being used, the Mets are being used. Well, what are you going to do? One side is going to do that. One's going to try to get leverage over the other side. Now, I would mention this has sort of been forgotten. There was a big free agent many, many years ago that wanted to play for the New York Yankees, but the Mets signed him. I think people sort of forgotten. It's Carlos Beltran. The Yankees had wanted to sign him for whatever reason, future Hall of Famer. And when he got a big contract from the Mets, Beltran said to the Yankees, "So you really want to play for the Yankees? Can you match him?" And they said no, which made no sense because Bernie Williams was ready to retire and didn't have a center fielder. But don't worry, they had Jacoby Ellsbury and a few other guys come down the pike until they brought in Horseface, who dropped the ball in the right and the outfield this past year in center field. But anyway, gotta get that jab in on Aaron Judge, by the way. But so Juan Soto was out there. Obviously, these teams can all afford him. It's all a matter of where he wants to sign, and reality is that he's let it be known that he's going to go to the highest bidder. He's a Scott Boras client, and we know where that's going to go. Now, like I said, it was a 58% chance, in my opinion, that the Mets will sign him, and a 42% chance the Yankees will sign him. Now, I was uninformed. I thought that the Phillies, and a lot of people talked about the Phillies, I thought the Phillies had a chance to do that, but apparently they did not talk about it to Scott Boras. But the Red Sox have seemed to be very, very serious now about signing him. And this is weird because this really, either team signs him that isn't the Yankees is going to really hurt the Yankees, which is great. They get to see the Yankee fans get all pissed. But like I've been saying, if he signs with the Mets, that would really bother the hell out of them more than if he would sign with the Red Sox, to be honest with you, because then they lose the town. If he signs with the Red Sox, it's a little bit different than if he signs with the Mets. They won't look at it as they lose in New York City to the Mets. The quote-unquote little brother. We're rivals. Always been rivals. But he is from the New York Post. Headline: Red Sox pushing hard for Juan Soto and rising Yankees threat. I like how they post. Who wrote this? John Heyman? For the Yankees, it is not just a regional rival, but a blood rival that looms as a serious threat in the Juan Soto Derby. Easy for me to say. The Red Sox are increasingly seen as a legitimate contender in the sweepstakes of the generational sluggers, whereas they are stepping up their efforts to lure the superstar hitter away from their historic AL East nemesis. Sources say the Red Sox are attempting to sell Soto on his fit and Boston fit both at Fenway Park and within the history of the franchise. Now, that's the one thing that the Red Sox and the Yankees can push on Soto and any player versus the New York Mets. The Mets have had very memorable teams, but they don't have this sort of the lore of the historical thing. You got one, franchise that basically stole all the players from another franchise and built their whole franchise. I mean, that's what really happened. To be honest with you. I mean, the New York Yankees, early years in the 1920s, they basically took all the players that the Red Sox had, not just Babe Ruth, but a few others, and they built their whole organization off the rubble of the 1914 Red Sox. In all honesty, Soto is a pure hitter who uses all fields. He enjoyed the best offensive full season of his career his year in pinstripes, but his road OPS was 57 points higher than at home. In Boston, the club's best hitters have historically been left-handed Ted Williams, Carl Yastrzemski, and that thug, a Hall of Famer, David Ortiz, and lazy opposite field fly balls from Soto could become doubles that bang off the Green Monster. Can't forget about Wade Boggs, by the way, and Fred Lynn. Having spent his first full 6 seasons in the National League, Soto has played just 9 career games at Fenway, where he likely would move from right field to a small left field defensively. During the Red Sox sit-down with him and agent Scott Boras 2 weeks ago in California, which was attended by Red Sox co-owner Tom Werner, the team also stressed its rich history with star players from the Dominican Republic. Ortiz and Pedro Martinez became legends in Beantown. Rafael Devers could become Soto's lineup protection. Executives involved in the bidding, which is in its relatively early stages, say they expect some offers to eventually reach or exceed $600 million, which would easily be a record for a present-day value. Shohei Ohtani's heavily deferred $700 million Dodgers deal worth is pegged at between $430 to $740 million. Such an expenditure from the Red Sox would be stunning for a franchise that traded away Mookie Betts. What a terrible trade that was. That is not a great trade. That really, since they made that trade, the whole organization has collapsed. Rather than signing him long-term, that has cut payroll significantly. Beginning in 2020, spent around $220 less last season with the Yankees. And relatively, that has reached the postseason in one of the past 6 seasons, a span that has included 3 last-place finishes in the AL East. They've been so bad, the Red Sox. Oh, well. Perhaps the Red Sox and controlling owner John Henry have decided to awaken at a busy moment. Bidding for Soto has begun, and sources confirmed that at least 5 teams, Yankees, Mets, Sox, Blue Jays, and Dodgers, are in. The 2 New York teams are publicly viewed as favorites, but all 5 are believed to be in the running. The Red Sox have been seen as a long shot, but maybe they don't view themselves that way. Now, I can go on and on and on about this. I'm trying to figure out where is this article coming from what standpoint. Now, we know the Mets had the most money to spend. They had the richest owner in baseball. They're one of the wealthiest men in the country. That's the owner of this club. He is not afraid to spend money. We saw, 3 years ago, when they lost out on free agent Steven Matz, they went nuts. They spent so much money because he was so mad. He signed 3 free agents within hours of each other. He signed Max Scherzer. Just went nuts. This was just 3 years ago. And he's not afraid to spend money. He spent a lot of money on Edwin Diaz, Brandon Nimmo, Kodai Senga, and then 2 years ago. So he's been very easy going with his own money. Now, here are the odds now. I kind of sort of figured this out, just doing it off the top of my head. Like I said at the beginning of the video, there's a 58% chance the Mets will sign him. The Yankees will be 42%. I'm thinking right now it'll be about 55% chance the Mets will sign him, and a 40% chance the Yankees will sign him, and a 5% chance the Red Sox will sign him. Or maybe 5%, excuse me. I think that's right. Yeah, that's right. And that's how I look at it right now. Okay? Just reading this article. And since John Heyman spent so much time on this this wonderful story, I figured that would give him a little help with this and just tell you where I feel. But I've been pretty spot on about players where they're going to go, I think, just through the tea leaves. If the money's there and the Mets are willing to spend the money, he's going to be here. They had the most money signed. They had the most money on the table when it came to Yoshinobu Yamamoto last offseason. But he wanted to play for the Dodgers. So the Mets are not going to get outbid for this particular player. But if this particular player wants to go back to the Yankees, let him go back to the Yankees. If the guy wants to go to the Red Sox, go back to the Red Sox. This is not a disaster for the Mets, one way or the other. Okay? We had the best general manager in the sport. We had one of the best owners in the sport. And I'm sure they have plan B, plan C, plan D. Okay? So to me, this is not a disappointment if they don't sign the player. This should be a disappointment for the Yankees, the team that will lose the most in this bidding will be the New York Yankees. Will be not at any point. It will not be the New York Mets. That I can guarantee you on that one, folks. Because Mets don't sign, they don't sign him. Okay? But if the Yankees lose him, they're screwed big time. Either, especially if he goes to the Mets. Because the Yankee fans don't want him going to the Mets. I can guarantee the Yankee fans are already coping and seething about this whole thing. They've been complaining about it for months. Long before the season was over, and they've been certainly complaining and making all kinds of excuses about where he's going to go, especially if he goes to the Mets. That's why you've been hearing about how deficient he is as a player. And of course, they didn't say nothing about it all season. They just talked about how great he was and how much fun they had watching him. And he's a fun player. He's a high-energy player. There's nothing not to like about him. If he goes to the Red Sox, they're not going to be like, they'll shrug it off. But with the Mets, that's a different story. Because that means that they've lost New York City. They've lost the town. They're losing the town anyway because the Mets have been so exciting over the last few years that people don't care about the Yankees like they used to. And if they lose Soto to the Mets, everything will change here. But in a big way. It's already changing, but if they sign him, that is a huge situation. I mean, really, really is. Now, let me know what you think about this video. And, of course, please subscribe to the Baseball Hut, the best Mets fans channel on this platform, the best Mets podcast on the internet. There's nobody better than me. Nobody. And here's the thing. If you're going to say, he's arrogant with this. Hey, if I don't think I'm good, nobody will think I'm good. It starts with me, and it starts with you watching, hopefully. Thank God you watch. But, of course, hit that subscribe button before you go. I would mention you send me super thanks. I love highlighting people writing to me and highlighting the super thanks. And we'll be doing live streams, so keep an eye out for that. And I also put the super thanks in the community, so you'll get to see it right away. If you send me money, I really hope you send me money. I need paint for this house. I still need nails. Actually, I got more paint. There's a lot of paint that needs to be done. A lot of paint that needs to be done here. So, thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you later.